Hi everyone, I hope you're well. This is the introduction to Project 2, which we won't be doing the programming for that until the end of the semester. But at this stage, we're going to spend the next week working on proposals. So what I recommend you do before continuing with the video is reading the project description here. The project description and this introduction will refer to the code book. This is the code book here. In this project, you'll be taking what you learned working with the NSFG data and applying it to the National Financial Wellbeing Survey data. You'll work with the data the same way. This is how you will be showing. This is the final exam in a sense, and we'll be showing what you've learned. So you'll be working with the data and computing the things, several of the measures that we've already learned how to compute this semester, mean, standard deviation, histograms, and things like that. You might wonder why we're starting the proposal now, given that we're not doing the programming till later. That's a good question. I may need to go back and forth with you with revisions on the proposal because some of the survey questions aren't really good for applying the calculation of means and standard deviations too. So that's the reason. And make sure you have plenty of time to work on a good proposal. Okay, so here's the project handout. All right, so we're working with the National Financial Wellbeing Survey. This was a national survey that was given broadly across the United States to survey people on, well, their feelings of financial well-being. Okay, so the idea here is, and keep in mind, we'll get to this later, but there are some partial project proposal examples listed that you can use as further examples of the process that I'm about to show you, or you can use these as part of your proposal. We'll talk about that in a minute. Okay. All right, so the idea is, here's the code book. Open the code book, and the survey questions start on page 5. Okay, so let's go to page 5. Okay, right, so here are where the survey questions start, and many of these have answers on a scale. We'll look at the responses in a minute. Right, so what I want you to do is to go through the survey questions, find one or two of interest to you. Okay, so I'm gonna pick this one here. I am behind with my finances, and this is the field name. The survey refers to these as variables, but working with the NSFG data, we've talked about fields. Okay, so this is the field. If you're interested in this, write this down. So WB2_3. All right, FWB2_3. And keep in mind, we've learned this the hard way with Python. Capitalization matters, right? So with all of these, when you work with them in your programs, you have to use the exact capitalization that you see. Okay, so the next thing for me in this example is to find out what the survey responses look like. The easiest way to do that is with a search. Now, I don't need to do the capitalization with the search because this isn't Python. Okay, so here are the survey responses. Behind my finances, so there's a range from 1, never, to 5, always. So as we've seen with the NSFG data, the values in the fields will be numeric. This is the meaning of the numbers. These negative values, or someone either didn't answer the question, perhaps, is -4. -1 is refused. The person refused to answer the question. These will have to be cleaned, right? Meaning when you do the computations in your code, you have to use a conditional statement to ignore these values. Well, we haven't gotten to cleaning yet. We'll be getting to that in the next lab or two. You use nested conditionals in order to do that. Okay, so because this is a range, this would be a good example of a question you could research in your project. Okay, then the next step, go back. We like to compare one group to another. So the survey includes demographic information as well, and that begins on page 15. Let's go to page 15. Okay. All right, so we have these demographic fields. Right, age. I don't think this is an exact age. Let's look at age. All right, so as we wanted to use that question to compare two ages. So we search on the field name AgeCat. Okay, so we see that these aren't exact ages, they're ranges, right, where this value in the field refers to this range. Okay, so maybe I wanted to compare for this question, maybe I wanted to compare 18 to 24-year-olds to 62 to 69-year-olds. Okay, so I would be working with the field values 1 and 6 with the data. Okay, right, so you'll be finding a survey question or two that you're interested in researching and a demographic variable or two that you're interested in applying the survey question to, and then writing Python functions to compute measures to help you compare the two demographic groups on the question that you're interested in. Okay, so you could use a mean, standard deviation, you could do a histogram, you could do the median. We haven't worked on that yet, but we'll be working on that in a future lab. You could look at an effect size. Right, so you just be applying what you've already learned to the NSFG data. Okay, let's go back to the project proposal. Okay, so again, at this stage, the only thing you're responsible for is the project proposal. Okay, And let me mention this, you may work alone or with a single partner. You work with a partner, everything that you submit, only one of you needs to submit, but make sure that both names are on the submission. The proposal, you don't need to use No Machine for. You can use Microsoft Word or another word processor that you have available on your laptop. Okay, right, and here's another example. This is similar to what I just walked us all through. Here's make sure when you write your proposal that you address these 4 points. And here are the partial project program examples. Okay, so you can either use these as further examples to help guide you when you're looking for your own survey questions to research, or you can use these as starting points for your project. As this mentions, I am expecting that you'll use the code book in order to look up the values with these fields and any values that need to be cleaned. Right? Notice that none of that information is here. Right? So this is a starting point. If you use one of these, you'll need to complete it by using the code book to look up the actual field values and the values to be cleaned. Okay, so that's the introduction to the project. I hope take care, everyone.